Guys, it seems like it's finally about to happen. Jensen is ditching the leather jacket, and that will be something, right? Now, in all seriousness, Nvidia recently dropped this on us. Get amped for the latest platform breakthrough in AI, deep learning, robotics, and professional graphics. Now, obviously, they're talking Nvidia Ampere, Nvidia's next big GPU architecture, which we believe will take part in the upcoming GeForce RTX graphics cards, such as the 3070 and the RTX 3080 and so forth. Apparently, Nvidia is hosting an online event and they possibly gonna talk GeForce and RTX. Now, there's been a lot of comments around whether Ampere is really for us gamers or if it's just a graphics architecture meant for AI and data centers. Help me out here, guys. What do you think? Is Ampere for data centers or is it for gamers as well? Today we're gonna cover everything you need to know about Nvidia's upcoming RTX 3000 lineup. We got specs, release date, price, and performance based on the latest leaks. Stay tuned. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to Arbin Hardware. My name is Rob and I'm your Swedish host and friend with bad posture and poor accent. Now, obviously, when we take a greater look at this statement, it says breakthrough in AI, deep learning, robotics, and professional graphics. This to me suggests that they are planning to talk about GPUs meant for, bigger companies and data centers. And according to a fairly recent leak, Nvidia might be using a 7nm manufacturing process on GPUs for data centers and use 8nm Samsung for gaming branded GeForce graphics cards, which means that these GPUs might be on different nanometers, meaning that there might not be as much juicy information on this event after all, at least if you're a gamer, so we probably shouldn't have too high expectations. Anyway, when I saw this statement, I was jumping up and down of excitement, and I promised to give you guys an update on the biggest and most important takeaway from this event. Anyway, let's focus on GeForce RTX 3000. I actually made a video on Nvidia Ampere a little while ago, however there's been a few more leaks since then, so therefore I'm doing this update. By the way, you can find timestamp for everything down in the video description. Now, a big part of Nvidia's upcoming GeForce branded graphics cards is ray tracing, and with that said, let's kick it off with the design and the specifications. Now, this is an image of what we believe will be the upcoming RTX 3090, Nvidia's new flagship based on 10, 8 or perhaps even 7nm from Samsung, and the upcoming Ampere architecture. Now, looking at this image at face value, it's hard to say how powerful this GPU would be. Thankfully though, we do have some figures that comes with this picture as well, and it turns out the specs for this beast has somewhat made this out in the public, something that we're gonna look at in just a second. Now, before we leave this image, I want to focus on one key area of this chip. You see, all these RT cores makes up what Nvidia calls RTX and ray tracing, and these RT cores will play a huge role in Nvidia's upcoming architecture because, as it turns out, all RTX 3000 series graphics cards get these ray tracing cores, and in other words, all graphics cards will have hardware accelerated ray tracing, even the entry-level cards.
Curved mirrors. Nobody does that.
And by the way, guys, this is also the case with AMD's upcoming cards based on RDNA 2. And this is an interesting question. What do you guys think? Should all upcoming GPUs have ray tracing support? Help me out here. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If we were to believe these rumors, 3080 Ti would be roughly 40% faster than its predecessor, the RTX 2080 Ti, and upcoming 3070 would be about neck and neck with current flagship RTX 2080 Ti. Now, WCCF Tech also made a pretty wild guessing, suggesting upcoming 3070 could get an MSRP of $500, which in other words would be a ton of performance per dollar if that turned out to be the case. Now, we're gonna touch on pricing a bit later in this video, but according to most information and leaks, Nvidia is planning for a Q4 release, a possible reveal in August, meaning that Nvidia and AMD is planning to launch their new GPUs around the same time frame. But with that said, let's take a greater look at the possible flagship. Now, the story around the RTX 2090 originates from two Twitter profiles. We got Copite, 7Kimi, as well as Kitty Koji, or Ragdoll Kitties, both of which has been pretty active when it comes to leaks around Ampere. It should be said though, as these are rumors, we gotta have to treat this with a grain of salt. Now, Kitty Koji, or Ragdoll Kitties, dropped a screenshot a few weeks ago where he compared the specs and performance of Nvidia's upcoming upcoming full GeForce Ampere GPUs versus current flagship, the 2080 Ti. And as it turns out, it seems like Nvidia is using TSMC's fresh 7nm node for high performance computing, and this includes the GPUs for data centers, while all the GeForce GPUs will be made on Samsung's new 10nm node, according to these leakers. Now, Copite 7Kimi was a fairly known tweeter at this point, who's actually turned out to be accurate in a few cases before. Apparently tweeted a while ago the upcoming GA102, which we thought would be the upcoming 3080 Ti, is actually not the 3080 Ti, and instead it will be the upcoming RTX 3090. According to video cards, which cites multiple sources, the die configuration of the upcoming GeForce RTX 3070 and the RTX 3080 would use the latest 7nm manufacturing process from Samsung. So whether it's 10nm, 8nm or even 7nm, Samsung seems to be the one making the GPUs nonetheless. Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia,
Curved mirrors. Nobody does that.
previously said that TSMC will be handling the majority of the 7nm orders, while Samsung would only get a small number of GPU orders, and this looks like a somewhat similar situation with Pascal, where only the 1050 I think was made at Samsung. Now, given that TSMC is making the SoCs for upcoming PS5 and Xbox Series X, as well as the Ryzen processors and RDNA 2 based graphics cards, that to me sounds like TSMC's got their hands full at this point, making Samsung the obvious answer. Anyway, let's talk about the GPU. So Nvidia is planning a total of 5 GPUs for gamers, and all are getting ray tracing support. We got GA102, GA103, GA104, GA106 and GA107. When it comes to performance, we should expect significant gains in both rasterization and shading performance, and in some cases up to twice the increase, although that doesn't seem to be the case in rasterization, where the performance increase seems to be a bit lower comparing to Turing, but it seems to be a huge uplift in ray tracing performance. So I've been talking about the RTX 3090 for quite some time now. Let's look at the specifications. So the flagship GPU is rumored to be the GA102, and this will be the successor to the Turing-based TA102 GPU that is sitting inside both Titan RTX and the RTX 2080 Ti. Now, this GPU will feature 5376 CUDA cores, and this is 16% more CUDA cores than a full-fat TA102 featured on the Titan RTX, which, by the way guys, is a very expensive graphics card. In terms of VRAM, it seems like we're getting 12GB of GDDR6X at 18GB per second across a 384-bit memory bus. According to Copite 7Kimi, RTX 3090 is not getting the full GA102, instead it's getting 4992 CUDA cores. Now, something to have in mind is that CUDA cores is not the only performance metrics here. Now, clock speeds will have a huge impact on the performance as well, and we believe Nvidia will be able to clock these quite high due to a more energy efficient process with less power draw. Again, GA102 GPU is said to be up to 40% faster than the RTX 2080 Ti. Next up we got 3080 Ti. This one will be based on GA103. This card is getting up to 10GB of VRAM on a 320-bit bus. It's getting a total of 3840 CUDA cores in total. Further down we find GA104, and this is believed to be the upcoming RTX 3080 and RTX 3070. This card is getting 8GB of VRAM on a 256 memory bus. Now, the way that the cards are made, there is a possibility Nvidia could use up to 60GB of VRAM for these cards, but given how expensive this video memory is, we're probably gonna see 8GB being used here to keep the pricing down. Now, the cool thing about this GPU is that it's supposed to deliver RTX 2080 Ti performance at a very interesting price tag, would obviously be much greater when custom models and higher factory overclocks makes it out on the market. According to Taipei Times, the overall performance gain is expected to be 50% higher on Ampere-based GPUs than existing Turing GPUs, while offering twice the power efficiency. Now, everything sounds very exciting to me, at least. Keep in mind guys, because most of these are leaks, we have to treat this for what they are. Anyway, as for pricing, given the release of of the upcoming console launch, as well as AMD's planned Navi 2 based graphics cards, which are planned to release around the same time frame. While it seems like we still might see a similar price model as current RTX 2000 series, hopefully we're gonna see a slight price reduction thanks to much greater competition. I have also seen a leak suggesting that 3080 Ti is getting a price tag of $1,200, the 3080 will be selling for $899, and the 3070 is getting a MSRP of $600 or perhaps $500 according to WCCF Tech at least. Now let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? What do you think about the pricing? Are you excited for Ampere? Let me know in the comments. Now there's obviously gonna be more to this story, and I am committed to give you guys the latest leaks and the information as more news comes out basically, so you definitely want to stick around so that you don't miss out. In the meantime, watch either of these two videos and I will see you guys in the next one.